Feeling overwhelmed in your school and classroom? Well, guess what? You are not alone. There are so many teachers who are facing seasons of feeling beat down and outrun. And so today I want to share a process that I believe can help you overcome teacher overwhelm. More to come. Stay tuned. Hey, teacher friends, Michelle Holiday here, and I am a behavior strategist. I help teachers in schools with strategies and tips to manage their classrooms and their students with less stress and less struggle. In today's video, I'm sharing a process of what you can do when you feel overwhelmed. I believe that if you follow this process, it will help you to conquer or at least reduce your feelings of overwhelm. So let's get started. First of all, I describe teacher overwhelm as that feeling you get when you feel like you're drowning and there's all of these things that you have to do and they're never getting done. And there seems to be no way out. You're just overwhelmed and you don't see light at the end of the tunnel. That's kind of how I describe teacher overwhelm. The first step in the process is to list everything that is on your plate. Take a moment. So take a moment, maybe 5-10 minutes, get to your quiet place, maybe put on some music, a candle, whatever will help you to relax, and list everything you have to do in the classroom. And trust me, nothing is too small. And I want you to go over your list again and put a star by the things that are making you feel overwhelmed. Next step of the process, which is to eliminate and reduce. Go through your list and try to find 1 to 3 things that you can totally take off your list and stop doing. Now, I know sometimes as a teacher, especially if you're new, you feel like, oh, I got to do everything. You can't do everything. We just don't have enough hours in the day. And no one's going to tell you that. Your boss is usually not going to tell you that. Definitely the school board is not going to tell you that. But oftentimes, the plate that you have is stacked beyond what you can do. So start to look at what you can take off your plate. Maybe you can get off of a committee that you're on. Maybe you can stop coming in early if you're staying late or vice versa. If you can't take something totally off your plate, think about what you can reduce. I remember that I reduced grading papers. I used to grade every single piece of paper that came across my desk until I learned what the district requirements were. And so I think I only had to do 3 grades a week. Well, that changed my teacher life. And so I began to decide, okay, these are the papers or these are the assignments that I will use to count as grades for the week. So I was able to reduce that. That saved a lot of my stress. I stopped eating at my desk and working at the same time. Oftentimes I would bring my lunch into my desk and I would work at the same time, never really fully getting a break. And this, I believe, was also contributing to my feelings of overwhelm. So maybe you want to stop eating and doing work at the same time. Another thing I did is I stopped staying late every single day because I kept trying to say, if I stay late one more day, if I stay every day, I'll get it all done. And it was not working. And so what I did is I chose 2 days a week where I would stay late. So I was able to reduce some of the things on my plate. What can you reduce on your plate? Step number 3 is to take a pause. So this pause that you're going to take will be temporary, but I want you to take 1 to 3 days where you're doing very little. Stop running on this hamster wheel and rest your nerves. When I took my pause, it was temporary. I think it was for a week. I went to school and I taught, but then when I left, I didn't do any work at home. I came home, I had my daughter all set up of what she was going to do, and I just laid down and listened to music for like 10 to 15 minutes. And then I read a book. And then I spent some time reading and journaling. I really took a pause and I stopped. And it forced me to slow down. And guess what? The sky did not fall. The earth did not shatter just because I took a pause. Now, you don't want to take this pause like when grades are due or when interims are due or those necessary things. But you can take a pause and trust me, the earth will not end. Use your pause time to get strength for your soul. So whether that means journaling or spending time in prayer, spending time in nature, spending time with your community, any of those things will really help to refresh your soul. Step number 3, shift your mindset. Your mindset is such a key part of you not feeling overwhelmed with the work. You know, one of the biggest lessons I learned as a teacher, oh gosh, I can't remember what year I was in, but that the work or my to-do list will only end on the last day of school. And that's just because it has to. Things are shutting down. They're shutting down that year. So my to-do list will continue to be full. It will continue to be added to, and I won't have everything done really until the last day of school. When I realized that, my mind was blown because I was still trying to run this race of trying to get it all done, thinking if I put in more hours, if I took more things home, that I would be ahead of the game. And I found myself to never be ahead of the game, to never really be ahead of the game in all of the areas. If you want to know the mindsets that I took on, I'll link that video below where I share 5 mindsets that I adopted to save my sanity. But I had to let go of the perfection that I had within myself. I had to let go of this fallacy that I could do all the things. And I had to open my eyes to what was realistic for me in the season that I was in and within the hours and time frame that I was given. It's a process, shifting your mindset, but it is so necessary. And step number 5, practice doing it different. Notice I use the word practice because one of the great things about practice is that you'll try something, see if it works, tweak it, see if that works. And as you practice, you begin to learn what works for you. So for me, what worked was shifting my mindset, changing my work hours, reducing the paperwork I was taking in, making sure I had a quality lunch, spending time with community, increasing my quiet time and my prayer time, increasing my friendship time, also being really strategic on how I did my classroom management. All of those things work together to help me overcome and conquer teacher overwhelm. By the time these things I was practicing became habits and routines for me and how I did my job, I did not face the overwhelm as much. It was a decision I had to make over and over again. Now, I'm not trying to contribute to your overwhelm by all of these steps. I would suggest take baby steps as you go through this process because teacher overwhelm does not have to be your story. You can make a decision to do it differently no matter what anyone says. So I hope this process gave you inspiration, ideas, and a path on how to step out of teacher overwhelm. If you connected with any of the steps I mentioned in today's video, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, and I will see you next time.